Hi. Thank you for attending today's reading. Let's begin. The Girl I Met in the Train. Part 9. Hi friends, hand waving. This the 9th part of the story. So if you haven't read the first parts, please do, so that the story would make sense. You can easily find the previous parts on my profile. Just click on my profile, J0HNWIKK, above the title. I hope you will read them. Hugging face. I knew I was in love with her. I think a lot about the things in my life. I was already thinking about our marriage. I said in my mind, she is the one for me. I didn't want anything else in my life. Waking up next to her and going to sleep feeling her love. That's all I wanted. I read somewhere a quote once. It goes like this. Love is the goal. Life is the journey. Humanity wouldn't exist without love. Love is what makes us humans. Of course I was a teenager in love back then, but my love was pure, sincere and innocent. I was practical too. I realized we were of the same age and I should get a good job after college. I started an Instagram account so I could talk with her. Instagram was hugely popular among teenagers and youngsters at that time. I didn't want to ask her number. I thought it would be too fast. I strongly doubted she would be on Instagram, and I was right. We both started following each other. We talked in Insta mostly about tuition class timings. Now that I think about it, I guess we were trying to reduce the amount of words in our messages for each other, like there was a message limit or something. When I receive a message from her with bare minimum of words, I tried to do the same. In tuition class we didn't talk much too. I really don't know how to talk to a girl. I really don't. I could keep account of the amount of times I talked to a girl who is not blood related to me. Because it was that little. I was finding it difficult to start a conversation with her. Yes, I was kind of a loser in that department. I was friends with her friend Selena more than I was friends with her. Well, there are reasons for it. Selena used to sit right beside me every single time and Remy would sit next to her. Selena used to start conversations with me. We make fun of each other and we were good friends. Besides, I had no pressure when I was talking to Selena. I didn't think much and I said what I feel. When I try to talk to Remy, I overthink. Even though we didn't talk much, I am pretty sure she knew I had feelings for her. There was a tension between us. We didn't talk freely with each other. Teacher changed the whole seating setup after some time. They were sitting in the bench in front of us. I enjoyed that seating arrangement much more. I used to wait for her to tilt her head to look at the textbook so I could see her while I was sitting behind her. Sometimes she would come with 2 ponytails. One in the left side and one in the right side. It was cuteness overloaded for me. I used to annoy my friend Mike sometimes by telling him how pretty she looked. I waited every day for those few seconds when she tilted her head to read the textbook, and those seconds were completely worth it. One day I was punished for not completing the homework. I was asked to kneel down and complete it. I was least bothered about kneeling down when she was sitting in front of me. Kneeling down and enjoying the most beautiful view cannot be considered as a punishment for me. That day when she was about to leave, she looked at me, said, "It was okay. Just complete it fast," and when she was walking past me she waved her hands and said, "Bye." I smiled and waved back. She was like a philosopher for me. We speak very less with each other. But every word she says gets imprinted in my head like a quote. Sometimes I felt like she was looking at me when she turned her head sideways to look at the textbook. I am pretty sure she knew I was just looking at her throughout the class, or maybe she didn't. But I believe women will notice this kind of behavior. She acts a bit different when I'm around and I act really different when she is around. Will be continued. This is a true story, so please don't expect something filmy. Cold sweat smile. Thank you for reading. Your feedbacks are valuable. DM or comment. It doesn't matter. Give an upvote if you liked it. I will see you friends soon. Black Heart. End of story. Next story. I experienced death. And I truly feel like I left a part of me behind. I can feel the fear. The cold grip of death on my wrist. My head aches right now. Repression memories I don't want to resurfacing, but the feeling. It was all real. So surreal. On July 19, 2021, I woke up that morning, lounging in bed, not once leaving my bedroom. I mostly spend my time reading on my phone, checking emails, hoping to see the phone bill. It wasn't until time was going on to 11 o'clock. Did I finally leave my room? I needed to call my doctor to make an appointment. But I can't recall why. As soon as I left my room, I immediately noticed the house was smudge. The smell of sweetgrass fumed the air. Note: sweetgrass is one of the 4 sacred medicines to the First Nations. Sage, cedar, and tobacco are the other 3. It is not marijuana, weed. At first it didn't bother me essentially. It was a common smell. However, I had the urge to cough, and so I did. I already had a cough and sore throat. A reason why I wasn't able to work that day. Walking outside, I cough up the phlegm, spat it out, and then I notice my parents in the driveway. I said, "Hi," and waved to them. My mother then said, "Finally. Woke up." Quote, "I've been awaken." Going back inside. The same thing happened again. The urge to cough. Walking back to my room. I tried to relax. I took a swig of my cough syrup. My only defense against the cough and to get rid of it. So I can get back to working again. That's when I notice a pain in my chest. I tried to ignore it. But it wouldn't leave. Exiting the room. The smudge was irritating my sense of smell. And once again the urge of coughing was much stronger. I figured, I must have been experiencing the same affect I have when smelling perfume or cologne. So, I began to breathe through my mouth instead of my nose. This was a simple solution to solve my problem. However, when I do this, especially for long periods, my breaths are shortened and it becomes harder to breathe regularly. I usually have to step outside in order to breathe fresh air through my nose. I continued as normal and notice in the kitchen a full pot of coffee. I wanted to make myself a cup when suddenly, the pain in my chest intensified. I couldn't breathe. I tried sucking in as much air as I could through my mouth. But it wasn't enough. I started to cough and I couldn't breathe. Immediately, I ran to the back door, running out onto the porch, coughing loud. It felt like I was dry heaving, trying to puke and cough at the same time. The pain in my chest was there the entire time. I did my best to breathe through my nose, sucking in and exhaling out, but it didn't seem to be enough. I was scared. It was pointless being scared. I just needed to calm myself and breathe. So I sat down on the porch, allowing myself to breathe and exhale, to expand my chest full of much air as it could take in. When it was finally over, I walked back inside the house, breathing through my mouth, hoping it wouldn't cause another coughing fit. I was able to pour myself a cup of coffee, mix sugar and creamer, but once again the pain in my chest intensified. I began coughing and finally said to myself, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." I ran outside again, and this time the coughing caused the pain in my chest to feel more sharp. I tried my best to breathe, but nothing seemed to be getting in. no matter how much I suck in through my nose. I began to panic. No one was home. And I left my phone in my room. Looking around, I noticed my brother's vehicle was still in his driveway. I had to get to a hospital. I was scared. I didn't know what was happening. I just couldn't breathe. I made my decision. Whatever air I could get. I ran inside, going to my room to grab my purse and make sure I had my health card. Then I remembered my cats were still outside my room. Thankfully, one followed me inside the room. But his brother stood side the door. I couldn't risk calling him. So I tried to grab him but he ran away. I was losing air. I pleaded he not run away. And snatch him to throw him in the room. Closing the room. My chest was in more pain than ever. I ran back to the back door and outside. But I cough again. Everything was becoming weak. I couldn't even walk down the ramp before collapsing into the only chair. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. My legs were weak. My hands were shaking. Everything was going numb but my mind was running miles by the second. Then I hear my mom pull back in. She called to me. And I call say in a low voice slowly become smaller. I can't breathe. She was angry, frustrated, telling me to breathe. But I couldn't. Then my sister-in-law must have pulled in because I heard her voice. I couldn't breathe. I felt everything shutting down and then finally, I couldn't hold myself up. I slumped over. Each short and shallow breath was becoming my last. I can hear my mother. Her voice was still mad. Then finally scared. Was death slow? I wanted to sleep. I was tired. I wanted to sleep. Then I felt hands on my chest, pushing down on me repeatedly. Lips on my own. And air entering my mouth. I wheezed. But it wasn't enough air. I was tired. I wanted to sleep. But I can hear screaming. Then I can hear everyone calling my name. But I was so tired. Then I was lifted. And suddenly air came back but it wasn't enough. I can heard more voices. And felt a sharp pain in my arm. A mask covered me. Then someone asked me questions. I opened my eyes. And I was in an ambulance. The man spoke to me, asking me question. I answered. But my voice was too soft. Tired. Tired. Everything was moving. Until I closed my eyes. I heard voices again and opened my eyes. A hospital. Again I was poked. Probed. My clothes being ripped and cut away from me. I didn't care. I was just so tired. Then I felt hands on me. On my chest. On my face. There was pain in my arms, on my body. But I didn't care. I no longer cared. They asked me questions. And I answered them. They asked again and I repeated my answers. I began to question. Am I faking it? Am I begging for negative attention? Am I fine? I couldn't breathe. Then I hear someone said, "We'll have to use a tube. We're gonna put a tube in your throat. You need to breathe." And they called me by my name. Then they said, "Say your name. What's your name?" I answered them. I said my name many times overs and then I finally shut my eyes. What I saw, what I witnessed was bits of my life before me. Lines upon lines. Each carrying a memory. And one by one they were breaking. Snapping apart. Thousands of voices began to disappear. What I hoped, what I dreamed, what I feared began to vanish. I was suspended watching everything come to an end. Black, white, lines of colors dissolving. I began to move like I was being flushed. Flushed from existence, and finally I asked myself, when I die, where will I go? If I'm dead, do I need to forget everything before I start again? Is this why everything in vanishing? How long do I have to wait? Quote, my ears or what's felt of my human entity exploded. A white noise, loud and deafening surrounding me. I felt shocks rips through me. Suddenly, I'm pulled into an old reverie. Red. Like I was in a cloud of red, orange, pink and white. A talking door and a path. Something only a child would imagine. And I did. A long time ago. When it was just dreams I had only as a baby. A toddler. And then I can hear voices telling me. This way. Not that way. Over here. Come. What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. You're almost there. I remember. In this dream alone. I was walking down a path. And the door said to me, I haven't seen you in a long time. But you must go home, dearie. I walked a path of dream from when I was a child. Then it changed again. A white light and voices saying numbers and strange beeps. Finally, I heard my mother. Come back to me. You're a fighter. You're strong. You can't leave yet. It's not your time. Squeeze my hand. I'm right beside you. I couldn't open eyes. I couldn't move. Then I hear another voice. She's under sedation. I can feel her hand in mine. And I so desperately wanted to squeeze her hand and let her know I'm here. I fought whatever drug was in me just to squeeze her hand. I feel my body twitched, but she already lets go of my hand. Then I felt a tear slide down. I decided to sleep. When I woke, I felt cloths or wipes on me. Washing my face and arms, I sleep again. I'm awoken again. Someone's called my name and said. She stopped breathing. I finally opened my eyes. And saw two people. 12:01 a.m. I sleep until I woke up at 5:06 a.m. I don't move. And when I do, my hands are strapped to the bed. As well as my legs. My throat was sore and I had the urge to cough. I was still sick with a cough. But now I have a tube down my throat and saliva running down my chin. I recovered physically but mentally. I remember. I didn't want to survive 'cause I accepted that I died. And when I finally looked in the mirror, that person looking back wasn't me. They're not me. Even to this day, there's a stranger in the mirror wherever I look. I avoid looking in mirrors. I can't sleep. Because I always wake up. End of story. That is all for today. If you want to support my automated channel, feel free to drop a like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.